In the grip of a fierce Siberian storm, a sea captain and his crew battled with the raging ocean. Clutching the steering wheel, the captain eyed his team.
So, I want to get through these fast as possible so we can get back and get some more gear in here.
Each wave raising doubts of survival. As they aimed east for vital supplies, each minute felt like it might be their last.
We got him? Get him inside!
If they didn't steer just right, will they make it through the storm, or is the Northwestern doomed in these icy depths? Join us to see if the Northwestern survives the storm or gets lost in the terrifying sea. A tale of courage on the high seas. During this chaos, a big problem appeared. A loose tank with a broken bin board.
There's a bin board loose.
This forced the captain to make a risky move in the middle of the ship. A loose tank is one of the most dangerous things for a ship because it makes water move violently from side to side, messing up the ship's balance. With the bin board broken, the ship's stability was in serious danger, turning their struggle against the storm into a tough fight for survival. But this wasn't the worst part. Another huge wave crashed over the deck, almost throwing a crew member into the freezing water. The captain shouted orders as the crew rushed to secure any loose equipment. The storm's rage didn't let up, and every minute brought a new challenge. Fixing the loose tank quickly became crucial to prevent the ship from capsizing. The crew pulled together, each person working hard to make urgent repairs. They were in a desperate race against time. As they battled the storm, the captain noticed a brief break in the weather. It was a short but important chance for them to regroup and strengthen their preparations. The crew took this moment to check their equipment and make necessary fixes. Taking a deep breath, the captain knew they had to act quickly since the storm was about to get worse again.
Can you get the water out?
There was no room for mistakes. However, the storm had more trouble in store. Just when they thought they were gaining control, a new problem came up. The ship's engines started failing, threatening their progress eastward. The captain immediately told his crew to inspect and fix the engine. Any delay in their movement could mean disaster. Despite their exhaustion, the crew stayed determined and worked tirelessly to get the engine running again. But then the storm grew even fiercer. The wind roared louder, and the waves got bigger, tossing the ship violently. Stability was almost impossible, and standing upright became a challenge. The captain kept his focus, constantly encouraging his crew. He reminded them of past challenges they had overcome. They just needed to hang on a bit longer, hoping for calmer seas beyond the storm's rage. Their journey through the storm was not just a test of their physical strength. It was a deep test of their determination, teamwork, and survival instincts. Each crew member knew that their fate depended not only on their own efforts, but also on their ability to work together as a team against overwhelming odds. The captain, with his experience and steady leadership, guided them through the storm's assaults, leading them toward safety and the continuation of their sea adventure. As they made progress, the weather suddenly worsened again. The waves grew taller, and the wind blew stronger, almost tearing the sails apart. The captain knew they had to be extra careful now. Every decision he made could mean life or death for his crew. In the middle of this new chaos, a part of the ship's hull got damaged, letting water in. The crew had to work quickly to patch it up. They grabbed whatever they could find to stop the leak, knowing that if they failed, the ship could sink. Their hands were numb from the cold, but they didn't stop. Their lives depended on it. The storm's fury seemed never-ending. Just when they managed to fix one problem, another would arise. The captain and his crew were exhausted, but they couldn't afford to rest. They were fighting for their lives, every second counting against them. The captain's mind raced with strategies to keep the ship afloat and his crew safe. But even with all their efforts, the sea was merciless. The waves pounded the ship relentlessly, and the wind howled like a beast. The captain knew they couldn't hold out much longer. He had to find a way to navigate them out of the storm. He scanned the horizon, looking for any sign of a break in the weather. In a moment of hope, the clouds seemed to part slightly, revealing a patch of clear sky. The captain seized this chance, steering the ship towards the light. The crew, battered and bruised, worked together to keep the ship on course. Their teamwork and trust in the captain were their only chances of survival. But as they approached the clear patch, the storm roared back with renewed strength. The captain's heart sank. They were so close, yet the storm was determined to claim them. The ship creaked and groaned under the pressure, but the captain refused to give up. He urged his crew to keep going, knowing that giving up was not an option. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they broke through the worst of the storm. The waves calmed, and the wind died down. The crew collapsed in relief, their bodies aching from the ordeal. The captain, though exhausted, stood tall. They had survived the storm, but he knew their journey was far from over. They still had to reach their destination and replenish their supplies. The storm had tested them to their limits, but it had also shown their strength and resilience. The captain and his crew knew that as long as they had each other and their unwavering determination, they could face any challenge the sea threw at them. Their bond had been forged in the heart of the tempest, and nothing could break it. The storm is just the start. Next is the tough king crab season. The turbulent race for king crab. In the heart of the Bering Sea, the king crab season starts with a burst of excitement. When king crab fishing begins, it's a race among the fleets. Captains compete to catch the most crabs and make the most money. With so much at stake, the pressure is high. Captains push themselves and their crews to the limit, aiming for success. Jake joins Sig as co-captain after losing his ship, the Saga. This adds a new twist to the competition. Meanwhile, Sophia faces a severe hip injury that tests her skills and strength, showing how dangerous and tough life at sea can be. Things get even more intense when a fire breaks out on the Wizard.
We can hear him screaming from down there.
Can you get down there or no?
Not yet, no, I'm not going. Get the crane.
Keith's sailor is trapped below deck, putting everyone's life in danger. The crew races against time to put out the fire and save their comrade, showing the real risks of crab fishing. As the season kicks off, the seas are rough and the weather is harsh, but the lure of the catch keeps the fishermen going. Every vessel is filled with hopeful crew members, eager to catch the crabs below the waves. This race is not just about money. It's a test of strength, a battle with nature, and a fight for survival. The captains, experienced from years at sea, know the risks, but are drawn back each year by the chance for big rewards. This year, the competition is even tougher. New strategies are used, alliances are made, and rivalries heat up as each captain tries to outdo the others. Jake, now co-captain with Sig, feels the heavy responsibility. Losing the Saga was a big blow, driving him to prove himself under Sig's guidance. Their partnership is a mix of Jake's energy and Sig's experience, which could lead to a strong team or a major conflict. Sophia, dealing with her injury, earns the respect of her peers with her determination. Every movement is painful, every task a big effort. Yet, she remains strong, showing the toughness needed to not just work, but succeed in such a harsh environment. As the season goes on, the sea tests the bravery of these fishermen with huge waves and cold winds. The work is hard, the hours long, and sleep is rare. The boats rock on the waves, creaking under the pressure, but the crews keep going, driven by the hope of a big catch and the fear of returning empty-handed. But the worst part is yet to come. The fire on the Wizard is a terrifying moment. Fire at sea is a sailor's worst nightmare, a deadly threat that can cause chaos even on a well-prepared ship. When the fire starts, it's not just about fighting the flames, but also about staying calm. The crew quickly starts their emergency drills, but the smoke fills the air, making the rescue dangerous. Keith, the captain of the Wizard, feels deep fear as he directs the fight against the fire and the rescue of the trapped sailor. His voice cuts through the chaos, giving orders, trying to keep everyone focused. The crew, faces serious and determined, work together to put out the flames and save their friend. In the middle of this crisis, the team spirit of the crew stands out. Their training takes over, each person doing their part with precision and urgency because they know a life is on the line. The fire is fierce, but so are they, fighting to take back their ship from the fire. Finally, the fire is under control. The crew takes a moment to breathe, their faces dirty and tired. The immediate danger is over, but the memory of the event stays with them. It's a clear reminder of the daily risks they face on the sea, a reminder that the ocean, for all its rewards, is also a dangerous place. The season goes on, the fleet spread out across the Bering Sea, each ship a small world on its own, facing the deep waters and hoping for a big catch. The race for crab continues, as relentless as the sea itself, a never-ending cycle of chase, danger, and determination. But there are more challenges ahead, and the fishermen must stay strong and united to face whatever comes next. With significant victories and intense competition behind them, the season's toughest challenges lie ahead. Captain Anderson's crucial catch. In the stormy Bering Sea, Captain Anderson of the Titan Explorer was on an important mission to catch the valuable red king crab, which could earn over $700 per quarter. The challenge was big. If he didn't catch enough of these prized crabs with the advanced gear and facilities on his ship, he could lose his job. Time was not on his side. Meanwhile, 25 miles to the north, Captain Sig was having a fantastic day. His ship was almost full of crabs. He worked quickly, knowing other fishing boats would soon rush to the area to get in on the action. Captain Sig knew that his understanding of the sea's rhythms and hidden spots was his biggest advantage, but it also meant that other fishermen closely watched his success. When Captain Anderson heard about Sig's big catch, he thought about something he really didn't want to do. Asking for help or advice from another captain wasn't his style, due to his pride and the competitive nature of fishing. However, realizing how desperate his situation was, Captain Anderson swallowed his pride and reached out to Sig for advice. That night, armed with some strategic tips quietly shared by Captain Sig, Captain Anderson led the Titan Explorer on a successful trip. They hit the jackpot, pulling in a huge haul of red king crab. The success was so great that it assured the crew they would meet, and maybe even exceed, their season's goals. The next morning, as the sun rose over the horizon, reflecting off the icy waters, Captain Anderson stood on his ship's deck, a small smile breaking through his usually stern face. He knew he owed a big part of this success to Sig's advice, though it was hard for him to admit. He preferred to rely on his own skills, but this experience taught him the value of shared knowledge, and perhaps a bit of humility. But this wasn't the worst part. Elsewhere, Captain Sig was engaged in a high seas game of strategy. Realizing that his fishing spots and methods had leaked, potentially hurting his profits, he decided to teach his protege, Jake, a lesson. Sig crafted a clever trick, giving Jake slightly misleading information about where to find the next big catch. As Jake eagerly followed the given coordinates, he found not the bounty he expected, but a clear message about trust and secrecy in the competitive fishing industry. This playful, yet pointed prank not only reinforced the importance of keeping secrets among the crew, but also solidified Sig's reputation as a wise and skilled captain. The incident became a popular story among the crew, retold with laughter and shakes of the head, acknowledging the old captain's cunning. In another part of the sea, Captain Rick and his crew faced their own set of challenges, battling relentless waves. The crew was experienced, used to the sea's unpredictability, but the back-to-back waves tested their endurance. During this, one of Rick's deckhands showed signs of hesitation, frightened by the unyielding ocean. Rick, understanding the importance of keeping morale and safety high, worked closely with the deckhand, offering reassurance and guidance, slowly helping him regain his confidence on the rocking deck. But this wasn't the only problem. Complications arose not just from the sea, but also within the crew itself. Sophia, another captain in this rugged maritime community, dealt with a medical emergency when one of her crewmen suffered a severe tooth infection. With no immediate access to dental care, Sophia had to balance the crewmen's urgent health needs and the relentless demands of the crabbing season. Her decisive actions and ability to provide makeshift care showed the multifaceted role of a captain, not just as a leader, but also as a caretaker. As the season progressed, the stories of these captains intertwined, each highlighting the harsh realities and unexpected camaraderie found in deep-sea crab fishing. From strategic moves and lessons in trust to managing a crew against the backdrop of nature's power, the life of a crab fisherman was full of relentless challenges and brief triumphs. Each captain, with their unique approach and experiences, contributed to the rich tapestry of life at sea, where every day promised new adventures and the potential for both great rewards and significant risks. But this wasn't the hardest part. The weather began to worsen, and the waves grew more violent. Captain Anderson's crew struggled to keep their balance as the ship rocked back and forth. They had to secure the crab pots tightly to prevent losing their hard-earned catch. Anderson knew that if the storm got any worse, they could lose everything. The crew worked together, double-checking the knots and making sure the deck was safe. Despite the worsening conditions, Captain Anderson remained calm and focused. He knew panicking would only make things worse. His leadership and steady hand reassured the crew, helping them push through the storm. The trust and respect they had for him grew even stronger during these tough moments. But this wasn't the scariest part. One night, a thick fog rolled in, making visibility nearly zero. Captain Rick's ship was caught in the middle of it. Navigating through the fog was extremely dangerous. They could barely see a few feet ahead, and the risk of colliding with another vessel or hidden rocks was high. Rick had to rely on his radar and years of experience to guide the ship safely. As they slowly made their way through the fog, the crew's tension was palpable. Every creak and groan of the ship sounded ominous. Rick kept a close eye on the radar, making constant adjustments to their course. Finally, after hours of nerve-wracking navigation, the fog began to lift. The relief among the crew was immense, and Rick's skillful handling of the situation was praised. But this wasn't the most dangerous part. The season was nearing its end, and the captains knew that one last big haul could make or break their profits. The competition was fiercer than ever. Captain Sophia decided to take a calculated risk and ventured further north than she had ever gone before, hoping to find untapped crab-rich waters. The area was known for its unpredictable weather and icy conditions, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. Sophia's crew worked tirelessly, dropping and pulling up crab pots in the freezing temperatures. The risk paid off when they discovered an abundant crab hotspot. Their final haul was one of the biggest of the season, securing their position as one of the top-earning crews. The crew celebrated their hard-won success, knowing they had faced and overcome great challenges. Was Captain Sophia's decision to venture north worth the risk? Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for more thrilling sea tales.